What is happening, guys? Welcome back to Redbeard's Garage, and we're back on the F-150 build. We have a 2013 5.0 Coyote F-150, and we did some lighting upgrades and a Baja tube style front bumper from Fastmodz in the previous videos. So today we're going to take a break on styling, and we're going to go to horsepower as well as longevity parts. So for these parts, we went to Fastmodz and got a 90mm BBK throttle body. So the factory throttle body on these F-150s is an 80mm. You can get an 85 or a 90mm. The 90 is more for like a boosted application and stuff, but you know what we say in the industry, the bigger the better. So I went with the 90mm. The best thing about the BBK throttle body is it's machined out of a solid piece of cast aluminum, and it has a factory Ford actuator on it. So you're not getting Chinese, electronics to put on your Ford. You have actual Ford Moco parts to put back on it. So that's awesome. It comes with everything you need. The installation's super quick. So that's going to give us more horsepower, and that's going to be best used with a cold air intake and a tune. For longevity parts, we have a Mishimoto catch can. This is going to come with everything you need to install it, a bracket, hoses, and everything. And you can see on screen that it has a baffle system inside. So if you're banging around off-road and stuff, it's not going to slosh that oil that the catch can is capturing back into your system. Super nice kit. So we'll get up under the hood, pull off the factory throttle body first, slap on the new one, and then install that catch can so we can make more power, more longer. She's been neglected. So I've been saying for like 6 months I'm gonna clean that air filter. So we're gonna do just that. First, we're gonna clean it with some K&N air filter cleaner, and then once we're done with all this, it should be dry. We can oil it. We also went to the Ford dealership and got 8 Motorcraft spark plugs. It isn't spitting or anything, but I'm sure it's got 140,000 miles on this thing. So we'll pull the air filter off, we'll do the spark plugs first, and then we'll do the throttle body, then move on to the catch can. So first, let's pull this air filter off with one flathead. This is an eBay boy, eBay cold air intake kit. Oh, nice. But I put an actual K&N filter on it. I'm gonna leave it. Okay. Oh yeah, I've been working out. So you see all that junk? Mm-hmm. So what we're gonna do? Holy! I'm sure this is what K&N calls for. We're just gonna knock the main schmutz out of it, and now we can soak it down with the cleaner. It wasn't extremely bad, but we're out here at Becca's reef factory. And it just says to soak it down, let it set for 10 minutes after knocking the large debris out, of course. I'm really excited to see if I can tell a difference with the old butt cheek dyno with the throttle body.
Do you think it will be a mind over matter situation?
If you don't mind, it really don't matter. No,
because you want more power, you'll feel more power.
Yeah, it's a what do they call it? Is that a placebo?
I don't know.
Effect? I don't know. We're idiots. But it's supposed to gain 10 to 15 horsepower. They say 14, so I'm gonna say 10 to 15. You will feel 10 horsepower in difference in the old butt dyno. Okay. Like a cold air intake, I don't believe you'll ever feel the difference. You hear the difference, so you're like, wow, this thing's fast, but it's really not. The throttle body, probably. And next video, we're doing a Banks programmer, so that should make a big difference, like another 15 horsepower. So we're talking 30 horsepower. That's a massive difference. So we'll let that soak for 10 minutes. Hey Siri, set timer for 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Starting now.
Oh, what could this be? What could this be? Huh, sounds like a... Alright, next is the spark plugs. These are Platinum boys, Motorcraft Platinums. They are like you do not set the gap. I don't know what word I was looking for there. So you got that red thing popped back, and then you can push this button down and pull the clip off. There we go. That is going to absolutely suck back there. Watch one of my boots break. No one have them in stock.
Why don't you put the worst case scenario on yourself?
It actually looks really good. Have I had plugs done to this? don't think so. Yeah, that looks real good. There's no cracks in the boots or anything. There's no oil. You know why? Because it's a Ford. If it was a Chevy, we'd be dumping coolant and oil out of there. Well, I tell you what, this really summed up to be a beautiful day outside. Oh, yeah. It's not like crazy bad. The thing's running good. Like, that's the color you want to see. So it had iridiums in it. I mean, honestly, it looks really good. Like, we're gonna change it because look at the difference. But so I'm gonna put a little bit of red Loctite. No, don't do that. I'm gonna put a little bit of anti-seize. So I'm gonna put red Loctite on this, break their plug channel. I'm gonna put just a dabble do ya of anti-seize on this so it won't stick in there. Or maybe the new throttle body will make us push so much horsepower that we just freaking blow the...
That looks disgusting.
Well, don't drink it. This stuff gets everywhere. Oh, there's my timer.
It won't focus on it.
So just put some anti-seize in the threads, and that's my timer for my K&N air filter. Let's go ahead and drop this hot dog in there. If you really want to make sure the spark plug gets in there all the way, cross-thread it. And then you will not have to worry about it coming out. Don't do that. Where's our coil? Oh crap. All right. Have that. Let's get our plug out the way. Go ahead and get our 8 milliliter. And then we only have to do this 7 more times, sorry. So, with the plug, we just of course do everything in reverse. And that is plugged in. So, I'm going to do that off camera because there's going to be some words that a Christian probably shouldn't say be said, because those are going to be rough back there. And if I break a clip, so help me, I'll snap the fender right off this Ford. Let's go clean the air filter. Here's my entire dirt. Gonna wash this puppy out from the inside out, making sure all the K&N air filter cleaner gets into the soil. I got a nice yard out here. Most people don't appreciate it. I wonder who that could be. I don't appreciate all the things I've worked to own. Like that Walker mower. I have 2 lawnmowers sitting out. You cannot hide money, baby.
I thought you said you were going to get it white.
It is.
That's not white.
I mean, it ain't freaking like new baby sheep white.
It's not white at all. It's gray.
That's pretty freaking white.
It's gray.
Gray, whatever. So help me, I'll football kick this thing right in them woods. Sling all the excess water out. Step over your 2020 lumber horse. We put the pine in it to give the intake air a crisp pine scent. So for the throttle body, first thing we're going to do is take off the boot going to our cold air intake. If you have the stock air set up, it'll be the same. I'm going to pull this off. There we go, and I'm going to go ahead and detach it from my actual cold air intake box just to get this completely out of the way. Oh, there we go. Now we're going to have this clip that plugs our throttle body up, which is located right here. It has a small red snap on it that you have to release before you can hit the button. Be very careful because you can break these. There we go. We got that unplugged. We'll tuck it out of the way, and then we just have 3 or 4 8mm bolts around this intake. Gently rock this back and forth and it'll pop off. So you can see all that buildup on the back of our throttle body. That's what that Mishimoto catch can is going to help to prevent. That is blow by that ends up building up on the back of the throttle body, and I'm sure it's like that inside the intake manifold. It's also a good time to check your gasket this little O-ring style gasket. Make sure there's no nicks in it, no broken pieces. And ours looks really good. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe inside the intake. It's not real bad. It's actually a lot cleaner than I thought it would be. We're gonna wipe that out before we finish installing this completely. And now we can compare this to our new BBK throttle body, which is 10mm bigger. So on the right, of course, is our stock one. You can see the aftermarket BBK 90mm on the left. Pretty good size difference on these two. So we'll flip it around. You see the difference there on the inlet side. This is where the air cleaner hooks up to. So this does come with a O-ring spacer. So this O-ring side is going to go towards your new throttle body, and the non-O-ring side will press against the factory O-ring. It does come with longer bolts to compensate for the extra thickness of this adapter, or this spacer. So we're going to get this all installed. Just reverse the steps. Super easy. This is one of the quickest horsepower gains you can get on one of these 5.0s. Now we have our new throttle body ready to install. I've went ahead and slid all 4 bolts in and put the spacer on the back, and the O-ring on the spacer needs to point towards the new throttle body. We'll slide this into place. So we're going to do a crisscross pattern. I'll tighten this down just to make sure that new O-ring and old O-ring seats good. All right, now we can plug up our actuator. Once plugged in, make sure to snap the red security tab into place. So before reinstalling the cold air intake pipe, we're going to remove this 8mm bolt right here and this 10mm nut. And once we pull the nut off, that ground wire will come off, and then we can actually unthread the stud out. Our Mishimoto bracket is going to bolt between these 2 bolt holes here and use this upper hole with a push clip. And then our catch can will basically hover right here, and we're just going to unhook a couple hoses from our engine. Super quick install. We can see on this mount we have 3 locations to mount up to the chassis. We have a push clip hole right up here that's going to go in this factory unused hole. And then we can just use the hardware we just removed. Slide our ground wire back on. By the way, this catch can bracket is super thick metal for what it's holding. So kudos to Mishimoto for how high quality the setup is. I went down to the hardware store and got me a petcock for the bottom of this. So when I drain it, I can just use an old empty oil can or water bottle to empty this without having to pull the lower can off. Now we got 3 Allens in the top. Put those in using a 2.5mm. And go ahead and snug them up. Probably not a bad idea to put a little bit of blue Loctite on these small Allens in the top. So now it does matter which one's inlet and outlet. This is the output back to the intake, and this one's going to be our input from the valve cover. So we have this hose right here going from the valve cover to the intake. Super easy to unclip. You just push the little gray bracket over to the side and it releases it. Then you can pull it right off. Same thing down here. Push it and just pull right off. So you can see how that little push clip works. You just push it to the side there and then you can pull it right off. So next we have this piece of hose with a 90 on one side, and then we can use our 90-degree quick disconnect. Just push it on there. Go ahead and slide on a hose clamp, and then actually 2 hose clamps. Go ahead and shove this one onto the inlet, and then go ahead, snap that in place right there. We can tighten up these 2 hose clamps. Now we can see this hose is longer with more bends. The side that the quick disconnect goes in kind of flares out, so you can't really mess it up. So we're gonna go ahead and snap this down here on the intake in place. You hear that snap in, and then slide this one onto the outlet barb and go ahead and tighten up the last 2 hose clamps. And there you have it. That's how quick it is to install that catch can. Now, since we put this petcock, we can just open it up whenever we need to drain it and just flip it back shut. So we're good now to install the intake tube back onto the new throttle body and put our freshly oiled filter on. Now, I should mention, you do have to really finesse this boot back onto this because it's 10 millimeter bigger. It's not going to slide right on, and you do have to get make sure you have at least a 90 millimeter hose clamp that'll fit. I did have to upgrade this hose clamp. Luckily, I have one in the drawer because the original size would not fit back in there. So now we can slide our old hose clamp on there, and this might be the hardest part, is finessing this tube back down in here and then back into your air box. So I think the hardest part about this whole entire kit is getting this tube back in. I actually ended up this is an eBay setup. So like I said, I just bought an actual K&N air filter, but it came with this air box and everything was really nice. I mean, this tube is pretty decent quality for eBay, but basically I had to cut a little bit of that snout off of this tube. I cut about 1 inch of it off to be able to clear this fuse box set up so I could get it down in there. So now we have that all attached at both ends. We can plug up our mass airflow. Make sure to put the red locking clip right there. Make sure to snap it up when you're done. Now we can oil our air filter and get it put back on and see if we can feel a difference. Okay, that K&N air filter was a son of a gun getting back down in there. Almost had to inflapidate the freaking filter. Anywho, so the filter is back installed. Like I said, I had to cut about 1 inch off of my intake tube, and that wasn't because of the throttle body or nothing. It's always been a pain to get this tube, because of China, get it to fit down in there. So our throttle body's installed, our catch can, our plugs, air filter cleaned. Next thing we have to do on the next video, we're going to be doing a transmission upgrade with a Mishimoto cooler as well as an AFE transmission pan, and we're going to have the dealership do a transmission flush and new filter. I'm not capable of doing a flush, or I'd just change the fluid and stuff myself. But I'm gonna start it up. Let's hear purr.
Can you what?
Can I have the Dollywood bread?
Dollywood bread.
Yeah, you,
they like to eat. They're good eaters.
Yeah, we're good eaters.
you can have some Dollywood bread.
Thanks.
Are you ready to feel some horsepower? Oh, Lord have mercy. Marshall, ready to feel this BB&K throttle body? Yeah, you are. Oh, dang, got the buggy uncovered. You doggy.
Who wants to see a buggy race versus a Honda Talon race?
Nobody. They don't care about that kind of stuff.
They're here for trucks.
They just care about trucks, baby. All right. So far, feels way faster. I hope Sandy puts these in my stocking. You can buy them in the checkout line at Walmart, Sandy. Hold on, you fur girl. That freaking exhaust cutout sounds like death. Let's see. We'll get down, do a different stretch. Does it feel any stouter? I have no clue.
Tires are spinning.
Oh, the tires stay spinning on this truck. Let's do a dig from right here. No traction control? Okay. Let's see what it'll do. Nothing's coming up behind us. Okay, advanced track off. I'm just gonna go from brake to fully matted. Do I know? I don't know. It's supposed to be like 15 horsepower. I feel like I can hear a difference in the suction noise. Am I an idiot? Probably. Is it good that way?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh gosh. That was 70 right there on a 70 mile per hour road. Hey Rhonda. I would love to say yes, it feels stouter. I think it does, but is it the placebo effect? Is it placebo?
I don't know.
But I don't know. She goes. These 5.0s, I'll tell you. Only thing I got done is cold air intake. Now this throttle body. And of course the catch can doesn't open up no more horsepower, but so we're gonna go from a 30 roll. It's gonna have to gear down. Well, let's get off this hill. Let's hold it at 30. We're on a hill right now. And go. Marshall panicked. I don't know. I mean, I swear to you, I can hear a louder hiss noise. Not the induction noise from the cold air intake, like a hiss. Trucks are so freaking fast. You don't even know how to think. I don't know. We do have a 400 pound dirt bike in the rear too. That's like calling my sister around after Thanksgiving dinner.
Dang, boy.
Do you guys think it made a difference? Like, I don't know. I don't do freaking around in that
Tell
truck.
us how wrong we are in the comments. The poor dog in the back seat.
I mean, I get on my truck quite often, and I swear to you, it feels a little stouter, but I don't know. Mark's like, I hate this. I mean, it feels stout. Okay, guys, so I feel like I can tell a difference. Can I really? I don't know. You know, 10 to 15 horsepower isn't a big enough gain for you to really be like, oh my gosh, that's a huge amount of power. So this would be a better performance difference if you did a cold air intake with a throttle body. Like if you're running a stock 5.0 or stock 5.3, whatever you got, a bigger throttle body with an intake and especially a tune, that's where you're going to see massive gains, like probably 30 to could be even closer to 40 horsepower, which is a huge difference that you're going to actually tell. So I highly recommend doing a performance part like this with a tune or a cold air intake or both. You'll notice in the next couple videos, we're going to do a Banks tuner and a pedal command on this truck. The pedal command is going to help us just feel like you can turn up how fast the pedal reacts to the throttle body, since it is a drive-by-wire. And then in a future video, we're going to do the Boss 302 intake manifold and a custom tune to compensate for that. That should be the biggest horsepower gain we're going to see. So stay tuned. Make sure to check out the links in the video's description for the parts we have installed and did install today and parts we're going to install in the future. Thank you. Big thanks to Fastmodz for these parts, because these have been parts I was going to buy for my 150 forever. And it's awesome to be finally getting this thing in gear, putting these parts on. We're going to make this truck sick. And stay tuned, in a later Instagram post, we're going to check that catch can after about 4,000 or 5,000 miles to see how much actual blow-by we're catching. I'm really curious to see that, because I've seen other videos online show quite a bit. So really looking forward to that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Check out Fastmodz, awesome company to be working with, and they got awesome parts. So check them out. We love you guys, and God bless.